Alright, you guys, what's going on? It's Rahul here, back again with another video, and today I'm just going to be doing a free agency recap of, day one of NFL free agency. So this is going to be an unscripted video, and you guys know what to do. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed, as it really helps out the channel and it shows your support for this content. Also, subscribe if you guys are new and enjoyed the videos on here so you do not miss out on any new videos. Plus, we're on the road to 500 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I will do a reaction to my first two videos ever and a Q&A. But yeah, with that being said, let's just get straight into today's video. So, the first move I want to talk about is Trey Hendrickson to the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, Trey Hendrickson this past year was amazing, and I will say, I do think the Bengals did make up. I mean, he was really good for the Saints, but I mean, there's like doubts about how good he will be for the Bengals, as this has been like his first year being this good. Plus, a lot of his, some of his sacks came in garbage time and like times when it really wasn't as important. So because of that, people are doubting his ability. But I do think the Bengals did take a chance on him, and I do like to see the Bengals doing that. Now, one thing I will say, though, is I really want to see the Bengals, start targeting some offensive linemen, as the Bengals' biggest need is easily the offensive line, and there's still plenty of good offensive linemen free agents still available, so I'd really like to see them, sign a guy like an Austin Blythe or, someone like that. But yeah, that's what I really have to say for Trey Hendrickson to the Bengals. I'm going to try to keep these, kind of short. Danico Autry and Bud Dupree, along with Kendall Lamb, all go to the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans, I mean, first off, getting to the Kendall Lamb part, a lot of you guys might not know who Kendall Lamb is, but like Kendall Lamb for the Browns last year, in the snaps in which he did play, he was very good for them. And the Titans, as we do know, they ended up trading their first round pick of 2020 to the Dolphins, as there was like a lot of drama going on with them. So Kendall Lamb, if you ask me, was a pretty decent addition. Not only that, but the Titans pass rush last year was awful, and they got some nice moves to help fix that. Bud Dupree is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Plus, they got Danico Autry, who had a really solid year for the Indianapolis Colts. So, pretty good moves for the Tennessee Titans. Next up, Ronald Darby was signed with the Denver Broncos. And Ronald Darby, he had a pretty good year for Denver. I believe he had 16 pass deflections for Washington last year, even though he didn't have any interceptions. He was still really good for Washington. And Denver, they need some help in the secondary, since outside of Justin Simmons, they are not too good. And Ronald Darby, I think this was a pretty good, signing by Denver. Next up, John Johnson went to the Cleveland Browns. I mean, the Browns have a really bright future, as I did say. I'm pretty sure I said that in my Browns What's Next. But, John Johnson was a really good pickup for Cleveland. I mean, he is one of the most underrated and one of the best safeties in the NFL. And I mean, the Cleveland needs some help in the pass defense department, as outside of Denzel Ward, they're not amazing, and John Johnson really improves it. So, great move by the Browns. Yannick Ngakoue to the Raiders. Now, of course, the Yannick Ngakoue did not exactly have a great 2020 season. I'm not sure about his exact stats right now, as I didn't exactly memorize them. But Yannick Ngakoue, I think we all know how good of a player he can be, and how good he really is when healthy. Now he signed with the Las Vegas Raiders, and I have to say, I really like this move by Las Vegas, okay? Las Vegas is extremely close to being a playoff team, and I mean, they are very close, okay? They got a really decent offense, and not only that, but the defense was really bad last year, and they had really just had to be aggressive this free agency, and they've already gotten a good start. And I mean, Yannick Ngakoue, this was he's a very good player and a great move by the Raiders. Next up, Corey Linsley to the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Corey Linsley was one of the best centers, is probably the best center in the NFL, in my opinion, and the guy wasn't all-pro last year, and chances are I didn't expect him to re-sign with the Packers, given the amount of money he probably wanted after his great year, and who knows if Green Bay could really pay him that much. And he went to the Chargers, and they were one of my top, destinations, either to the Chargers, the Bengals, or the Jets, someone like that. And yeah, he went to the Chargers, and great move by the Chargers. I really like to see them, not being way too cheap, since they have to protect, Justin Herbert, as the offensive line was not good, and who knows how many hits, he can take. And Corey Linsley was just an amazing pickup by the Chargers, as he is the best center in the NFL and will instantly improve that offensive line. Next up, Joe Thuney to the Kansas City Chiefs. So, as a Patriots fan, I expected Joe Thuney to leave us, unfortunately, as while I do think he's a really good player, I'm just not sure that the Patriots could really pay him the amount of money that he really wanted. And yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs, they definitely needed some offensive line help after cutting Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher. And yeah, Joe Thuney, I didn't think he would really go to the Chiefs. I thought it was going to be I was thinking the Cincinnati Bengals as like where he would sign, but yeah, great pickup by the Chiefs. He is one of the best offensive guards in the NFL, so yeah, good pickup by them. Corey Davis and Carl Lawson to the New York Jets. Now, obviously, the New York Jets have a lot of cap space, and I mean, I really like to see them spending. Now, of course, I don't like the Jets since I'm a Patriots fan, and yeah, it's gonna suck having to deal with Carl Lawson and Corey Davis in my division now twice a year, but very good players, and good move by the New York Jets, okay? They needed some wide receiver help. Denzel Mims can still be good. Jamison Crowder's a really solid slot receiver, but Corey Davis, I do think the guy can be a very good player for this team, obviously. And Carl Lawson was one of the most underrated, he's one of the most underrated pass rushers in the league. And I mean, the Jets, they definitely should, help him, improve that defense as much as they can, as Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded coach, of course, as he was a former defensive coordinator. And I mean, really good move by helping just improve their team in general, offensively and defensively. And of course, best for last, the New England Patriots. Now, of course, as I said before in this video, I'm a Patriots fan, and you bet I was very excited, and I was on my phone all day looking at Twitter at the free agent moves we made, and we made a lot of moves, but I'm going to be going over which ones I think are the most important. So, of course, I'm going to go over start off with Matt Judon. Matt Judon, he didn't exactly have an amazing year for the Ravens last year, but he's still a pretty decent pass rusher, and while I don't expect this guy to be a 13-sack player, if he's an 8.5, 9-sack player, that is pretty good, and I really like this, pickup, as we needed a better pass rush and a better, run defense. Next up, Jonnu Smith, and you bet yourself. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but I was very happy at this move, okay? We needed some pass catching help, and Jonnu Smith, provides that, and he is a very underrated and really good tight end. And finally, we're starting to get weapons, and of course, that brings me to Nelson Agholor. Now, of course, a lot of you guys might start clowning me, but last year, Nelson Agholor was really good for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he was actually a guy that I do feel like he could be really decent, for us. And what do I have to say this. I mean, Nelson Agholor, he provides, speed, which is something we didn't have. And I have to say, I like this addition. Now, I will say $13 million is a lot. I'm not sure if he's necessarily worth that. Maybe there's incentives and the base salaries are a lot lower than that. So yeah, that's what my thoughts are on the Nelson Agholor signing. I really like, getting weapons for Cam and all, but I'm just not sure if 13 million if he's really worth that. Of course, we also signed Kendrick Bourne, and I have to say, another, wide receiver, and he was really solid for the 49ers, and I like what we did with the weapons. We're starting to really improve that receiving core, and if we just have a solid all-around receiving core, I would be very happy with that, as, it would be much better than what we had last season. And of course, the final move I'm going to talk about is Jalen Mills to the Patriots, and Jalen Mills last year for the Eagles was very decent. Now, the guy does have consistency issues, but he's a really versatile player. He can play cornerback and safety, and I think he's a pretty, decent and solid player. He's a pretty decent and solid player. And last year for the Eagles, he was pretty good. And I have to say, as a Patriots fan, I'm very excited for what the rest of the offseason really holds. But yeah, that is my recap of NFL free agency, day one. Of course, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button. And of course, if you guys want to see more videos like this, subscribe so you do not miss out on any new videos. Plus, we're trying to reach 500 subscribers. And once we hit our goal, I am going to do a reaction to my first 2 videos ever and a Q&A. But with that being said, I'm out, you guys.